And might I add, no titties. No titties in this movie.
No.
So
Not enough titties.
Yeah.
The Midwest, home sweet home in good old Indiana. Place of small towns, cozy families gathered together, and fields of corn and rustic woods. But, like any town, there is a dark underbelly that often goes unnoted. We are part of that darkness. We lurk in the shadows to bring you the best in horror, metal, and stories of the grotesque. This is Blood in the Cornfields.
All right, welcome in, fellow cellar dwellers. How y'all doing out there? Got an interesting one today. A little bit different with us. I'll introduce who we have with us. So, of course, I'll start with always...
Ivy. Hello, all.
Surprise, shocker that
no
you're
kidding.
here. All right. And to my left now, I have someone that is new. His name is Miguel. Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
What's up, guys? My name's Miguel. I'm a bit of a movie buff myself, but I love horror films, and I brought this movie up to these guys.
Yes.
I thought it'd be an interesting one to watch together, especially...
It should be. I'm not. So I have to say right off the bat, because I know I said this in podcasts, I'm not a Japanese film dude. And that's but it's not necessarily like I don't seek them out. Like I'm like, yeah, fuck that. I hate Japanese flicks. Mm-hmm. I just never really watch them. It just never comes to hand. So
yeah, for me, I've been familiar with Japanese flicks. As a matter of fact, funny story, Miguel brought this up to us, this movie, and I'm like, wow, I've never heard of this one before. It sounds really cool. Yeah, let's do a watch party with it. And then I'm like searching. I'm like, okay, Miguel, what's it on? You're like, it's on Prime. I'm like, okay, good.
$3.99.
$3.99. We can do it. It's cheap. And then all of a sudden my husband goes, babe, I got it in my shelf. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was pretty random.
You had it in your physical media this whole time? Yeah, I've had it since high school. Whoa!
Been staring at you this entire time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the fact that, so I've seen the Jennifer Connelly one a while ago. Couldn't tell you jack shit about it. I know I've seen it, and I'm hoping that this is gonna just spark some stuff, but that'll be interesting to see how close it is to that one, because I've only seen the one, so I'm gonna, spark some shit.
That too. I have not seen that one, so
I haven't seen either.
Yes,
this will be a trip. I'm excited. I'm usually more familiar with the old school Japanese horror films, so Houseu, a couple of I can see it in my head. It's where the head detaches and follows the person around, and it's full organs and everything. I wish I could remember the name of the movie. It was an odd film. It was something of Bali or Vampires of Bali or something like that. And it's weird.
Yes.
So that's the J-horror I'm usually into. So I didn't really get into too much of the Y2K stuff because it freaked me out. The Grudge, hell nah. I can't watch that ever again.
Not even the newest one?
No, I don't think so. Well, you know what? I might. It's not like The Exorcist with me. Again, but it's not like The Exorcist with me where I'm just completely scared and I'm not gonna watch it ever. I gotta be in the right mood. All the lights gotta be on. This is gonna be good.
I really enjoy Japanese horror. It tends to go weird. They're not afraid of doing that weird thing or that weird shot.
Yeah.
In The Grudge, the kid, he meows at people.
Yeah, right.
Who's telling director?
That's pretty cool.
Director tells somebody to go meow at somebody.
A fucking cool one. One that knows what he's doing.
Exactly. So I think they just have that edge of we're gonna try that thing, like a lot of American horror does.
Yeah,
do.
they're not afraid of it. And then usually with the Americans tend to do remakes. And whenever they do remakes, my husband put it pretty well. He said either they are completely different from the Japanese ones because they're trying to make it for a Western audience, or it's a shot-for-shot remake.
Right, exactly.
And it's because they do not know the actual material that they're just gonna, this shot's in it. We gotta do that.
And there's a lot of Japanese mythology and all that. There's a lot of demons involved. There's an amazing amount of names for every sort of demon you can think of.
That's so cool.
And so when it comes to American films, we have ghosts.
Yeah.
Right. Form of the ghost on it. You know what I mean? So it's not there's one type of demon, it's either Beelzebub or a ghost. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's where it comes from. A lot of Japanese horror history it plays on Japanese mythology.
And it's such a rich mythology too. There's their vampires are not like our vampires.
Right.
They're demons are not like our demons. Same even with their ghosts. Their ghosts are completely different.
Right.
Like the Grudge, as an instance, it's a water spirit. It's different, you know. They all have their own lore, and the fact that we can explore that through J-horror is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very nice, bite-sized, scary entertainment. You know?
I'm just looking forward because Japanese do some crazy shit.
Yeah, they do.
I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, you looked like you were going to talk, and I didn't want to.
But then so you do you first.
Hell, I forgot it already.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, the way this episode is going to kind of be framed is that overall, we already gave our initial thoughts.
Yep.
And then we're going to watch the movie. We're going to have a watch party.
Yep.
And then we're going to talk about it at the very end and tell each other, like, what we liked.
Yeah.
We mentioned the name of the movie.
Yes. Oh,
Yes,
God.
absolutely.
We should.
Yeah, that would
Absolutely.
be nice. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
In English, it goes by Pulse. Came out in 2001, but the Japanese name is Kairo. K-A-I.
I like that. I like the sound of that.
And then tell us the plot synopsis.
Should I?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
But no spoilers.
Okay. I can read the synopsis.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Word for word, that bitch.
After college student Taguchi commits suicide, a number of young adults living in Tokyo witness terrifying visions transferred across the internet. As more people disappear throughout the city, the internet becomes a breeding ground for malevolent spirits.
Ooh. This is
And
giving
we're gonna
me.
go with that.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Yeah, because we don't want to give too much shit away.
It's giving me major corpse party vibes. Are you familiar with the game?
I am.
In the comics?
Yeah. I'm not too familiar, but I've definitely watched a lot of
Oh my
Let's Plays
God.
and all that.
Yeah, no, that I remember watching the Let's Plays. My sister and I stayed up watching PewDiePie play that
Yes,
Let's Play.
exactly.
Yeah, it was so
I'm a
good.
PewDiePie fan.
I was hooked, man. So much so they end up getting my sister the actual game, so she
Yeah.
does have the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So cool. I'm excited.
Awesome.
too.
All right.
With that being said, we're going to watch this shit, so you will hear back from us just momentarily. Bye.
Bye.
意識霊魂何と呼んでもいいんだけどそれを受容できるエリアっていうのは残念ながら無限大ではなかった
インターネットって勝手に向こうから繋がっちゃうもんなの？
でもいつか必ずいっぱいになるそしたら魂は別のエリアつまりこっちの世界へ進出してくるしか方法がない
どうしてみんないなくなるんだろう
つまり回路は開かれた
それ貸してあ
All right, we are back. So we have seen it.
We have seen
We
Pulse.
have seen it. Yes, absolutely.
Wow. That was one, it's past my bedtime. Two,
No shit. And it's not even.
that was a really interesting film. I liked it a lot. I liked the scene. We'll get into it, but some of the scenes were so well put together. Nothing particularly scary, but it was the slow burn of the chills that gave you chills, rather, should I say.
Yeah,
That, like the story, because you did get invested in these characters. There were times where it was really hard to decipher said characters.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know who the fuck I'm watching.
But like the two main ones that you got to know is like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel for you. So,
Well, I mean, for me, kind of just looking at it from my, simple-minded perspective. There was a lot of scene changes where I'm like, where the fuck are they at and why are they there? And I just kept thinking like, well, okay, all right, let me just try to follow along. Some of the cool stuff they did, I liked a lot of the effects, like the hallway where she steps out and then kind of does the little Matrix style, like
Matrix thing.
yeah,
Where it
the
just
little duck move.
So spooky.
Yeah. It was cool, and I thought it had like a kind of an artistic vibe to a lot of those little scenes and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool.
So to recap, though, like the movie is basically, yes, it takes place with this kid killing himself. That kind of starts off the whole thing, and early dial-up internet is like the source.
AOL, baby.
And it's like I was kind of right. It was kind of like The Ring, where if you see this thing, you need to go kill yourself now.
You're a part of the cycle now.
Yeah.
You're a part of it now, yeah.
And it just kind of entraps you in there. But there's a catch. The catch is like, you're trapped. Like, that's it. There's nothing more to it. You got a lonely ass death existence, whatever after that. There's no hope for you. And everything has just become apocalyptic. Yep. I was not expecting that in a Japanese horror ghost movie. The apocalypse happens at the end?
Yeah.
The fuck?
And it's funny because I noticed early on, like, why the fuck are they always alone on the bus or whatever? And
on the bus.
It didn't dawn on me that that's like actually part of the movie. So I was like, that's cool. I don't know what the significance of yellow was in this movie, but I kept being like, oh, they're all wearing yellow in the scene. The car's yellow, and in some other scene she's wearing yellow. I have no idea. I'll maybe try to read and find out if that has anything to do with anything.
I felt the yellow was like optimism. Like they were optimistic, or like, you know, like it was nice, it was bright, it was cheerful. But then it goes to that, like in the beginning where the two girls are wearing like the yellow dresses.
Yeah. And then he came in and had a yellow shirt under his like flannel or whatever.
So the way I saw it is like, okay, these are the people to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Also,
the car at the end was yellow too.
Yeah, and it was when he found her. So to put it clear too, there's two separate stories going on.
Yeah.
The first story.
It was the three that work in that plant shop, right?
Yeah.
It was the three younger, like probably mid-20s.
Yeah.
Sarah, you know, and their boss.
And their boss,
The boss was just around, right?
He's just chilling.
Until later, right? And then it was the two college students. Right?
Yeah, the two college students that were computer classes. Yeah.
I don't know.
College student A and college student B.
Yeah.
I just remember Haru was the chick.
Yes, Haru was the chick. They had some sort of, Haru knew something was going on, and then they met that other computer science kid who was like, yeah, I know what's going on.
Yeah, he's like, hey, let me lay it down flat.
Yeah, I'm just going to describe to you literally everything that's going on.
Ghosts are running, they've run out of room in the afterlife, and now they're coming to this dimension, you know? And it's a really interesting experience to see it like unfold the way it did. I think there's a commentary on, I mean, I think we all kind of know this about Japan, you know, loneliness, relationships, and all that shit.
Work
not happening there.
Yeah.
Work being a huge part of it. And I think it began with the three in the plant shop worried about their friend, right? The one who initially killed himself. They left him alone for over a week before they even checked on him.
Yeah.
Right? So I think there's a commentary on societal loneliness going on throughout this whole film.
Or don't be a shitty friend.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, it makes me think, at this whole movie just made me think of my job. And I think that, like, you know, again, mortician talking, but like, it just made me think of like, we always get these weird calls that happen where loved one hasn't been heard from in a week, but that's also because they were kind of a lonely person. They like to keep to themselves. So they like the person, it wasn't necessarily that the loved one that went like either did a police check or something like that. It wasn't that they didn't want to reach out to them. It was just, oh, they're just being them again. You know, it's like, it's not that they didn't care. It's just they thought, oh, they're going through a thing. I'll leave them alone
we
then.
need the tape he's working on. But
yeah.
still working on.
Right. Yeah. The disc, we need that. But.
Right. And the guy was like, our deadline's tomorrow. And they're like, I know. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Like, I guess you got to go visit him. Right. The dedication, though, that they went to go get that disc. While he's casually fucking making a noose in front of her.
Right. Yeah.
And she still manages to get the disc. And she witnessed this horrible thing where and all of a sudden, next room, hung.
Gone.
Gone. and she's traumatized, or at least actually she takes it pretty well, because then she goes out to dinner with
She
her
was
friends. And
bummed
it's like,
for
here,
about 20 minutes.
disc, I got it.
I got
Yeah.
the disc.
That was
What
good.
do you guys think that black mark?
The stain that they leave.
Yeah, because when every character dies through the cycle of the demons and all that.
Mhm.
To me, I took it as the imprint of their soul.
Yeah, that's a really good thought.
Yeah,
Yeah, like an imprint of their soul, or just like
because the body just is gone, but the soul's the only thing that remains, and it's like,
And they kept hearing, like especially the sound design was incredible.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah.
Sound, it was its whole character on its own.
Mhm.
You know, whenever she approached the guy from the plant shop's room when his thing was happening,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
it was like, help me.
yeah.
Like the sound went quiet.
And I loved
she
when they
approached it.
they faded it all out. Like they faded the sound all out when he was in that room, and like she even opens the door to exit, and there's still no sound other than you hear the guy's faint little breathing and then saying "help me."
Mhm.
That was really cool. You don't see that in films too often. And then it was another thing that was just right out of nowhere. You know, it was just right out of nowhere that they just
It really
cut.
does. Like you hear music, or you even hear just room sounds.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
just-
like
you
the
can
kind of
ambient
creaking
sounds.
of like
Yeah.
You didn't even
the
know
settling.
You were
Yeah.
listening to that until they cut it out.
Yeah.
And all
Right.
you heard was the voice.
And then you're like, oh shit, yeah, there's nothing else.
And she runs out of the room and she slams the door. You can tell she slammed the door.
Yeah,
You don't hear
but you don't hear it. Yeah.
And so
That
like, you're
is
kind of
good
encapsulated in that person who's now just a stain in the wall.
Yeah, to me, that's what I was kind of alluding to in the beginning. It's the movie struck me as very artistic, just with a lot of that sort of stuff, and that kind of goes to show, like, with that, you know, sound cutting out, it just to me just had an artistic feel to it that was like, you know, different from a lot of shit I've seen. So I totally
That's
dug
exactly
that
why
for
I
sure.
brought this movie up because I, you know, a lot of horror films, you get that jump scare.
Right.
There was not
Yes.
Yeah.
I kept
Single
saying if it was an American movie, there'd be a jump
There would
scare
be a
here.
sting. There
Yeah,
would be
right.
something obnoxious.
No.
And to kind of, that actually brings up a really good point, Miguel, because like, I hate to bring up this movie, but we did review it. It kind of gave me It Smile.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it does give
Or
me
Smile, whatever the fuck it
Right.
follows. It
Yeah.
Smile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't help but have like the comparison, especially the suicide element.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely gave me that, but it felt like that director was like, I seen this before.
Mm-hmm,
I want to replicate that,
Right.
but I'm gonna be pretentious and just hit you with all the stings and try to be James Wan.
yeah.
Yeah. I will say it went on a little too long. Like
A little bit.
I felt like some scenes were like the whole driving around scene.
Oh,
Like, I get it. It's post-apocalypse. Like
Yeah.
everyone's gone.
we gotta show that off.
Yeah.
That this is where our whole budget went for the movie, was just shut down Tokyo.
Right.
We gotta get all the shots.
And then the leftover was the plane blowing up.
With the interesting 2000s
Yes.
effects.
Yeah.
Though that scene with the chick, I know this was earlier, where she jumped off the building, I was like, God damn!
That was pretty cool.
That was so well done.
Yeah, that really was.
There was no cut. There was no.
No,
nothing. And that was another thing about the film is there was a lot of scenes that were one shot.
Yeah.
Right, there's one camera just hiding out somewhere in the room while the characters are doing full movement.
Yeah,
full
and
theatrical movement.
it would even do, and that's another thing to me that was artistic, is they would, it almost looked like they tried to shoot it as if you are watching everything. Like when they go to sit down, the camera sits down too. When it walked into the room, it was kind of shaky. And then when the girl's getting ready to talk, it pans over to the left and then back.
Back at the beginning of the film, there's a lot of scenes that were outside.
Yeah.
Like
outside
they're
a
shot through
window.
windows.
Through
Yeah.
windows, through doors, whatever. Like as if you were the spirits kind of observing,
Yeah.
like figuring out what's going on
Yeah.
in this realm.
That's cool. And that scene at the end, though, with the actual ghost coming towards the camera,
Yeah.
that did get me a little like jittery. I'm like, oh
With
no,
the eyes,
no, go away.
the eyes that finally come into focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They brighten up right at the very end. It's a very, you know, I know it's old, 2001, 22 years old now.
So it's all right.
But I felt like it was such an interesting way to present horror. Like it just doesn't, you don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
You don't get that slow burn, that let your feels go kind of weird.
Yeah.
Am I seeing things? Am I not seeing things? Why am I uncomfortable?
I think the last time I felt something like that probably was either Hereditary or the Vivitch.
Right.
Like those are the two movies I can think of that really made me feel that slow burn and just that increasing horror.
It's like Hereditary with the mother, after the funeral, when the mother's in the corner of the room and she switches on the light and she's gone.
Yeah.
Like it makes you think, did I see that? Did
Yeah.
I not see that? Like, so it's playing on your own psychological situation.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think about yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that the character, the kid, I'm just gonna call him the college kid, that like he keeps denying the fact that there's even any ghosts, and it's like, my dude, what more evidence do you need up until he like touches the ghost?
And I was
it's like
super interested in that whole arc because he was kind of encapsulating the loneliness of the ghost. Like as a human being.
Yeah.
He was alone in his apartment all the time. He was bored.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to figure out the internet. That's what got him into this whole situation.
Yeah.
That whole scene where he's like standing up at his table, reading a magazine, flips through it, lights a cigarette, flips through another magazine. It was kind of encapsulating the whole idea of you're lonely. You're experiencing what ghosts are experiencing now, but you want to be alive.
in your parallel universe, you're experiencing exactly what they're what they have. That's a good observation.
Even the guy that was trying to be like, can we just live together?
Yeah.
Right. Can we just live together?
Can this just happen? I'm horny. I need something.
Yeah.
We got to restart all of humanity.
Yes, it starts with us.
And of course, the fact they like fades out at the end, I'm like, that's probably the best thing for that poor character. Like,
it makes you wonder, did he get to the big boat? Or is that...
Right, was that in her mind?
Yeah. When did that happen?
That's true.
That is true.
I didn't think about that.
Because they don't really define it. He just kind of like subtly fades away.
Mm-hmm.
Which again is like...
Her friend did that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
and then it leads to the question, like, what exactly is, like, is that representing just their bodies gone?
Mm-hmm.
Is that representing that they're all gone? It's kind of interesting to think about.
And so we had the boss, right? Of the
Yeah.
shop.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And he had that whole monologue about going, like, is it worth it?
To go talk to your friend.
Is it worth keeping tabs on your friend? Why not let him go? Why not let him be who they are? Is it a waste of time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out he's somebody that already made the door and all that,
Mm-hmm. No, that was really good because I'm like, what is this dude doing? Like, the boss is just there. Then you realize he has something to do with the door because he goes to go get the red tape.
Yeah. Let's say I might stay away from a door that if I ever see the
red
perimeter
tape?
red tape,
Nope, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Not going
I'll just
there.
simply not go in that door that day. I'll turn around.
I started kind of looking through IMDb just for certain trivia facts and stuff like that. And this one really got me thinking. I don't know if y'all are familiar with, what's his name? Takashi Miike. He did Itchy the Killer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Is that the one who's got the cheeks cut?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he also did the original, was it Last Call? No, not Last Call. One Last Call.
One last go.
Not sure.
Yep, don't know that
There was
one.
an American remake later on, and then he also did Audition, of course.
Okay, then I know.
Yeah.
Then I know.
He said
Audition. Yeah.
Audition's so good. He said that this was like one of the scariest films he saw as an adult.
Really?
Yeah, and that's come from the big man. It's like, damn, dude.
Well, especially, I think back being in 2001,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think this would have been terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Like on par with like The Grudge. And all. I know The Grudge and The Ring were definitely much more in your face.
Right.
Yeah.
About the situation. But again, like you said, it's a very artistic style.
It is.
Film.
This one was more subtle and spooky in the way that it delivered the exact same message, but I felt like because it didn't have the ooh spook,
It felt like they were coming though.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's just my Americanized brain and watching used to being that, or if they were intending to do that and then never deliver. I don't know.
Right.
Because like when she peers over the seat, like that's your
that was
classic
crazy.
American like jump scare to where like, I'm gonna leap out at you or something, and it never came.
Yeah, nope.
And they made shit extra slow. Like they were slow as fuck. Yeah.
You could run away from this thing.
Yeah.
But nope.
You could just like run around in circles and slap it in the head.
Would you though?
Would you?
That's the fun aspect of it, is the reality of the situation where you're like, what would you do?
See,
In that situation, I'd be dead. That's fine. I guess there's no stopping it.
I'm a charger. I would charge and fucking I would charge at it. I don't run away. I would charge at it. I'm not saying that's the best strategy,
Right.
But I'm a charger.
It
so
just kind of begs the question of like, when you do see an American film and they do that jump scare, if that person is not dead in the next scene, then what happened?
Yeah,
true.
How did it unfold? Like, you still don't see that in this movie. Right?
Yeah.
The dude's hanging out afterwards, but like it kind of gives you that slow burn of like, it's not just in your face and you leave. No, this guy had a traumatic experience watching this person
come toward him.
Yeah,
fucking wiggle their hair.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd be terrified. I would be traumatized.
Right. Exactly.
Awesome.
He had every reason to be catatonic. So, like, you said you saw the remake, but you don't remember what happened.
Yeah, I don't. When we were talking about it earlier, I don't remember if it was Luke or someone said Jennifer Connelly, and that like stuck in my head because she's done shit like this. But when we looked it up, it was Kristen Bell. I've seen it, but I don't remember it much at all.
Yeah.
Which I guess, because Luke also saw that, like, apparently Wes Craven did the screenplay for it. And he was, like, in an interview for Fangoria, he was like, no, I disown this film. This film's awful, dude.
Yeah. Because it just, like I said, it had Christina Milian in it. And, like, she was a pop singer and shit then. Right. And it just seemed like one of those fucking movies where it's like, you know, Freddy vs. Jason. Ooh, we're going to put a Destiny's Child in there just to try and pique people's interest and shit. And I hate
we got this pop singer here. Will she live? Will she die?
The only one I don't mind is when Paris Hilton gets it in House of Wax. She gets it good. She gets it good.
Dude, anything to do, like, anybody that knows me, finger trauma, can't with that shit.
Yeah.
Because that was what stuck with me. And I'm like, I think that's probably what started my finger trauma.
Yeah.
Like, shit that I got worried about. Yeah. I just remember her getting, yeah, no.
But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the, cameo from current pop person in order to boost, hype around movie. I fucking hate that.
Oh, apparently this is the remake was a Weinstein movie. So,
oh boy.
Yeah. So apparently they initially didn't want to make it because they're like, this is too similar to The Ring. What's the point? And it's like, well, yeah, you're right, but
Yeah, I wonder, because to me it seemed like with the remake kind of a capitalization, and I might look up, but like the whole I Know What You Did Last Summer, like that type of like, hey, let's throw out those type of movies. Yeah, let's make them subtly different, but like let's try to do that same type of shit. And I could see how Wes Craven would be like, oh
I'm not about that. No. I'm done.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Trying to be blockbuster rather than giving into the art, There's a lot of art there. Like a lot of the scenes, a lot of the cinematography, the way things were shot, how people were placed in the room. It was all very, very diligent,
Like everything had a reason for it to be the way it was.
There's a thing about reflections.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of reflections and first person vision, like looking just as if you were the victim, like when the first scene where you're looking through the tarp hanging, and that's where Homeboy is when he's
right.
Getting ready to kick the bucket. Yeah, absolutely.
You bring that up, and that makes you think, like, what's the difference between standing around your apartment and what that alive guy was doing as a college, like that brings that up again, like like what's the difference? No one's checking up on me, no one's calling me, I'm lonely, etc.
Yeah.
I think it hit on a lot of human
things,
feelings while being about human.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Stuff,
That's the nice thing about like Japanese horror. They focus on trauma, like real trauma. They try to do that with American ones sometimes. Again, you have like outliers like Hereditary.
Yeah.
But like they focus on legit trauma before it was cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And might I add, no titties. No titties in this movie.
No.
So
Not enough titty.
yeah. No titties, but that's okay. So I guess in summary, what do you think personally? Like, would you rate it? Would you recommend it? What do you think?
Oh, highly recommend. Because it was so well done.
Yeah.
I'll give it 9 out of 10. Not quite perfect, but 9 out of 10 for me. I really like that one a lot.
Go ahead. I'll finish it up. I'll go last.
I would give it about 8.5.
Okay.
I think some of the visual effects are dated, which is fine. Some of the scenes went a little too long.
Yeah.
Could be a little bit more bite-sized. And some of the pacing is kind of confusing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I felt that it's easy to get confused. And what's doing what? What's going on?
Who's this character?
All of a sudden, she's outside and there's a woman taping the door.
Yeah, right.
That scene
Exactly.
Could have had one connecting scene where she's going down the stairs to the shop or something, right?
Right.
But otherwise, I love the horror. I love the slow burn. I love how they present it. You can't run away from it. You know? Like it's not gonna jump out at you and it's over in a second. You're in this for the next minute. You know, like I think that's playing on a lot of people's insecurities and feelings.
Yeah.
That's what I look for horror movies. Look at for horror movies is it gonna make me feel something? It's gonna make me feel weird.
Yeah.
And it definitely does.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, I guess my opinion, I am a tough judge, but I'm going to go with a solid 7. Main reason, kind of what you had touched on, Miguel. So for me, I loved the creativity of the movie. I loved kind of the not bright colors. Like it was a little
Saturated.
Blandish. It was, and I liked that. I thought that was pretty cool. That kind of makes for a murky feel for the movie, and I think that kind of matches it. And I loved some of the unique takes on the ghost approaching with how slow it was. And I cannot recall seeing something as slow moving in any movie that I've ever seen. So I thought that was really cool. I liked the personal perspective sometimes from the camera. I was like, oh, okay, kind of Blair Witchy, but not shaky and not going to make you throw up, but it almost makes you feel like it's a first person shooter, like a video game.
Yeah.
I couldn't follow this thing for shit. Like I said, I'm like, where the hell are they at? Who the hell is this? Why did they go there? How'd they get there? That was my biggest flaw with the movie. Just could not follow it along. And like you had said, like she's taping the door. And I'm like, well, who the fuck are you? And like, I know why you're taping the door, but why are you taping the door?
Yeah, who are you? I don't remember you.
And like, we even had a hard time, like you were the only one that picked out who even the fuck she was when she just jumped off the fucking thing. Like I don't even know what that was.
And that was my second watching too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
A lot of these connections that I'm doing now are based off the second.
Yeah.
Because I was just like you the first time I watched it. I'm like, when did that happen? You kind of have to wait till the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, because like I was saying, where the fuck was she that she jumped off? It looked like, so I grew up near farms, and to me it looked like a silo or like a feed.
Oh yeah, it did.
A feed chute or something like that. And I was like, but it wasn't what it was. But I have no idea where the fuck she jumped off of. I just know it was like a high position, and it was cool that it was a continuous shot to sack of potatoes thud. That was cool. They definitely had some cool shots. And it's worth watching for that. But if you're a big plot, like storytelling and you have to follow every inch and stuff, you're gonna fucking hate it. But for the artistic aspect and the cleverness of it and just the, I'll keep saying it all the time, but the artistic value that it holds, I definitely think it's worth watching, So yeah, I give it a solid 7.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miguel, for joining us and for
absolutely
giving us an awesome movie. To anybody listening, know that this is something you can do. If you've got a movie that you want to share, come on over. That's what we're about.
It's a beautiful basement.
Thank you. It was cellar dwellers.
Cellar dwellers. Yes.
That's what we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if you guys have any suggestions or recommendations, please do reach out to us, DM us. We will do our best. We will always do our best to try to reach out to you with our schedule. But yeah, we'd love to. That's what we're about. We're a community.
Yes, we're about participation. have done and will continue to do things in the community. So we're open for suggestions, recommendations. We're also going to be looking into other podcasts and seeing about teaming up. There's a couple that I kind of know of, but yeah, we're open for suggestions. So anything interactive, plus any suggestions on, we've got merch, we got a little bit, we've got shirts.
We also have our
you can also
Ko-fi
DM
account.
us, our Ko-fi account. Go ahead and let everyone know what it is.
Of course, Ko-fi.com/blood in the cornfields. Donate anything, $5 or more. It just helps us as far as like paying our dues for the service that we use. It also helps with like, ordering more shirts and merch and all other good stuff so that we can continue to do stuff with y'all. Also, any future events that we may have in the future.
Yep, absolutely. And if you have suggestions on what you want us to do with your donation, go right ahead.
Yeah, just tell us.
Sweet. So I guess we're getting to the point where we're saying goodbye.
Yep, but Miguel, is there anybody that you want to shout out?
Go ahead.
Any Asian movie horror enthusiasts out there? Hit me up on Instagram. I'd love to see some more Asian horror.
Sweet.
So.
We just got to spread the love and share stuff. That's part of like why I like being in this community is just it's like just to nerd out on shit, I can't even describe it. Like, I mean, you're talking to someone who has like a shit ton of like toys and like movies and shirts. Right. I've got so many damn shirts. It's ridiculous.
You see our basements.
Yes,
nuts.
Yeah, exactly. So we welcome that community. So,
With that being said,
look out for each other and good night, cellar dwellers.
Bye.
Bye.